A fictional children's story, Tatiana and the Journey of Love. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a young girl named Tatiana. She lived near a great wide river called the Amur, where the trees were tall and strong, and the flowers bloomed in bright colors every spring. Tatiana loved to run through the fields, her feet dancing on the soft grass, and she would wave to the trains that passed by, dreaming of where they might go. But Tatiana's life wasn't always easy. When she was very young, she lost her parents and had to take care of her little brother and sister all by herself. Even though she was just a child, she was brave and kind, always doing her best to protect them. She dreamed of going to school and learning new things, but there was no time. She had to work hard every day. One day, something very big and very scary happened. Tatiana and her family were told they had to leave their home and go on a long journey to a place called Central Asia. They didn't know why, and they didn't know where they were going, but they had no choice. Tatiana held her little brothers and sisters' hands tightly as they climbed onto a crowded train. The train chugged and chugged for many days and nights, through forests and across rivers, until they finally arrived in the new land. The new land was very different from her home. It was dry and dusty, and Tatiana had to work even harder to find food and keep her family safe. Sometimes all they had to eat were wild plants and tiny onions they found in the snow. But Tatiana never gave up. She knew she had to be strong for her brother and sister, just like the trees by the river back home. Years went by, and Tatiana grew up. She met a kind man, and together they built a family of their own. Tatiana had many children, and she loved them more than anything in the world. Even though life was still hard, she made sure her children were always safe, warm, and loved. Every night, after working all day, Tatiana would sit by the fire, sewing clothes or cooking food, while her children slept peacefully nearby. Tatiana's children sometimes wondered how she did it all. How did she take care of them, cook food, grow vegetables, and even help build a house? She was like a superhero to them, with a heart full of love and hands that never stopped helping. She didn't wear a cape or fly, but her love was the strongest power of all. One day, Tatiana's daughter asked her, "Mama, why do you always take the smallest piece of food? Or say that you like the chicken's neck when there are so many other parts?" Tatiana smiled softly and said, "A mother's heart is happiest when her children are full. It's not the food that matters most to me. It's seeing you happy and healthy." And so, the children understood. Their mother's love was like the trees by the river, strong, steady, and always growing, even in hard times. No matter what storms came, no matter how hard the winds blew, Tatiana stood tall, like the trees she had known as a child. Her love was as deep as the roots of those trees, keeping her family strong and connected. As the years went by, Tatiana's children grew up and had children of their own. They told stories about their mother, about how brave and kind she was, and how she never stopped loving them, even when things were tough. Tatiana's grandchildren and great-grandchildren loved hearing about her adventures, and they promised to be just as brave and loving as she was. And so, Tatiana's love, like the trees and the river she had once known, lived on forever in the hearts of her family.